Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are zooming in on something absolutely crucial for anyone stepping onto a workshop floor, and that's engineering safety standards. We're going to explore the vital rules, the rights, and the responsibilities that keep us all safe in engineering and manufacturing environments. There's actually a really fascinating structure to how workplace safety is maintained, and by the end of our time together, you'll see exactly how all these moving parts fit together to protect you.
Okay, let's kick things off with a bit of a mystery. Which major piece of legislation acts as an umbrella act for all other health and safety regulations in the workplace? Kind of like a giant safety net covering the whole shebang. Keep this overarching question in the back of your mind as we journey through the specific rules of the workshop today. I promise we will reveal this ultimate, foundation-level answer by the end of the explainer.
Section 1. Safety Legislation Framework.
So at a high level, there are three main pillars of workshop regulation that govern your environment. You've got the Health and Safety at Work Act, COSH, and the Personal Protective Equipment, or PPE, regulations. These three essentially work together to form a protective web right around you. We're going to dive into the specific details of the substances and gear first, and then we'll tackle that big umbrella act at the top.
Section 2. Controlling hazardous substances.
Right, let's define COSH clearly. It stands for the Control of Substances Hazardous to Health Regulations 2002. And the really critical takeaway here is that it places a strict legal duty on your employer. They are required by law to control your exposure to these hazardous substances to prevent ill health. And it doesn't stop there. They actually have to protect not just their employees, but literally anyone else who might be exposed in that environment. When you spot that bold, stamped COSH symbol on a document, a storage cabinet, or a safety sheet in the workshop, you know immediately that strict control measures are in place. It's a fantastic visual cue. It cements in your memory that the materials nearby require specific handling, specialized ventilation, or strict protective protocols.
But what exactly counts as a hazardous substance? Well, it's a lot more than just, bubbling vats of glowing green chemicals. It's a surprisingly broad range. It absolutely includes substances you use directly, like industrial adhesives, paints, and strong cleaning agents. But it also includes materials that are generated while you work, like fumes from soldering and welding. It even covers naturally occurring hazards like grain dust, which, believe it or not, can be highly explosive and terrible for your lungs, as well as biological agents like bacteria. The danger profile is incredibly diverse.
Section 3. Personal Protective Equipment Rules.
Now, let's talk gear. This brings us to the PPE regulations of 1992. This law is entirely focused on personal protection, specifically ensuring that employees wear suitable equipment for their exact working conditions. And the absolute core rule you need to remember here? Employers have a basic, fundamental duty to provide this personal protective equipment to you. And, as we'll see in just a moment, this provision comes with some very specific financial protections for you too.
Think of standard protective gear like armor across different zones of your body. We're talking about durable clothing that protects against the harsh weather, safety helmets for impact protection, heavy-duty gloves for lacerations or chemical spills, impact-rated eye protection, high-visibility clothing so you are easily seen by heavy machinery, steel-toe safety footwear to protect from crushing weights, and safety harnesses to prevent dangerous falls.
However, there's a really important nuance we need to clear up. Hearing protection and respiratory equipment are actually covered by entirely separate regulations, not that 1992 PPE Act we were just talking about. But there is a golden rule here. Whatever hearing or breathing gear you wear absolutely must be perfectly compatible with your other PPE. So your safety goggles can't break the tight seal of your respirator, and your hard hat can't prevent your ear defenders from sitting properly. The whole setup has to seamlessly and safely fit together.
Section 4. Your essential workplace rights.
Let's talk about you. What are your fundamental baseline rights? Well, the law dictates that you have the right to have any risks to your health and safety properly controlled. Remember when we just talked about PPE? You have the right to be provided with that personal protective equipment completely free of charge. Your employer cannot make you pay for it. These rights also extend to your physical well-being when it comes to exhaustion, guaranteeing you rest breaks during the day, time off during the week, and annual paid holiday. And the best part? These rights generally cannot be changed or removed by your employer.
Now, beyond those basics, you also have what are called safety action rights, and these are powerful. If you have a reasonable concern about your safety, you have the right to literally stop working and leave your work area, and you can do that without being disciplined.
You have the right to actively tell your employer about any safety concerns. And if your employer won't listen, you have the legally protected right to contact the health and safety executive or your local authority, again, entirely without fear of discipline. You are totally empowered to stop unsafe work.
Section 5. Your safety responsibilities.
Safety is a two-way street, right? So you also have an active role in maintaining this safety ecosystem. Your responsibilities include taking reasonable care of your own health and safety and making sure you don't put other people, like your fellow employees or the general public, at risk. You must cooperate with your employer, which means paying attention during training and actually following the policies. Crucially, you must never interfere with or misuse anything provided for safety. No taking off machine guards or removing warning signs. Finally, you're legally obligated to report any injuries, strains, or illnesses you suffer while on the job.
Listen, I want to be super clear about this next part because it is a highly practical and potentially fatal danger to avoid. When you are operating machinery, you must completely avoid wearing jewelry or loose clothing. If you have long hair or wear a headscarf, you have got to make absolutely sure it is tucked securely out of the way. Rotating machinery does not care about fashion, entanglement can happen in a fraction of a second, and it is absolutely devastating. This is a primary critical responsibility you hold for your own bodily safety. So what exactly do you do if you spot a safety failure or notice someone neglecting these responsibilities? Here is the concrete actionable procedure you should follow. Step 1. Discuss your concerns directly with your employer, your immediate boss, your safety representative, or your trade union official. They are always your first point of contact. Step 2. If the issue remains completely unresolved, then, as a strict last resort, you get in touch with the authority responsible for enforcing health and safety in your workplace, which is either the HSE or your local authority. I know that taking that step can feel super intimidating, which is exactly why I want to draw your attention to this formal guarantee. The rule explicitly states, health and safety inspectors have powers to enforce the law. Your employer must not discipline you or put you at a disadvantage. That is a massive shield of protection for you. If you refuse to work because of unsafe conditions, your employer cannot legally retaliate. No withholding pay, no passing you over for promotion. You are protected. All right, it is time for the big reveal. We've finally arrived at the answer to the mystery we opened with. What is the overarching umbrella legislation that governs all these rights, duties, CSHS, and PPE regulations? It is the Health and Safety at Work, Etc. Act 1974, which is commonly known as HASAWA. It's an absolute requirement that anyone entering a premises must comply with the regulations covered by this specific act. It's designed to promote safety awareness and help everyone work together seamlessly. But the really key takeaway here is that any other piece of legislation in the workplace justifies its very existence by directly referencing HASAWA. It is the absolute bedrock of workshop safety in the UK. Let's look at the exact wording HASAWA uses, starting with the employer's mandate. The text reads, "It shall be the duty of every employer to ensure, so far as is reasonably practicable, the health, safety, and welfare at work of all his employees." Just feel the immense weight of that sentence. The ultimate overarching duty falls squarely on the employer's shoulders to ensure the environment is fundamentally safe. But, flipping the coin, HASAWA also clearly establishes the employee mandate. It says, "It shall be the responsibility of every employee to take reasonable care and to cooperate with management on health and safety issues." This proves exactly how this umbrella act demands teamwork. The employer provides the safe environment and the protective gear, and you provide the care, the cooperation, and the compliance to keep the whole system functioning. So here's the question I want to leave you with today. Now that you understand HASAWA, COSH, PPE, and that precise legal balance of your rights and responsibilities, are you doing your part to keep that umbrella intact? The next time you step into an engineering workshop, I want you to look at the signs, inspect your gear, and remember this massive legal framework that was designed specifically to make sure you go home safe at the end of the day. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and stay safe out there.